So, when it comes to the human body, what we're talking about here is the integration of the soul with the body. That is the journey that you are on, whether you are aware of it or not. This is something that everyone is on. And then it's about how much are you aware that that is the journey that you're on? Or do you think that you're living in a world where you're adhering to all of these social things about that magazine is really popular, that thing is this, that, oh, people like this wear this type of stuff, they wear this, the people that are wearing this, that means that they are wealthy. The people that are wearing this, that means that, like, all of these rules of the mind about the reality, and these create literal energy fields around you that you can sense. But you can't sense them if you're not connected to your body. And many beings are operating in the body on remote control. And so, this is what we're talking about every single day here. And we are shifting. Because once we are seeing what is out of alignment with truth. And what is the truth? Is it my truth? Is it your truth? No. It is the truth of the experience of the body. That's when you are in alignment. If you're just speaking your experience from the body. But we've been very trained and mistrained out of what even is our truest joy here. And so our thing has been a lot to do with relationships, especially women. We have got into a lot of trouble because we've just been giving. We haven't been screening at all who we're actually giving to. We are now. But we're not just screening based on past hurts either. We have processed through the hurt to some extent, and because there are deeper depths to be felt, deeper recognitions, deeper healing. We have healed what we were here to do alone, which is to anchor our connection with higher intelligence. That is what we did alone, every single day. We practiced all the time. And the way that we are moving in frequency is to go by these cycles of Gaia. There are certain rhythms and cycles, energy cycles, that is sort of it's like the ascension cycles. And these are literal scales. Like every day we're going through a different chakra. It's sort of like, I think it's like from the head and then the root, and it sort of goes in circles like this and then into the heart, and then it goes again. And these are the ways that consciousness come. Here, to the heart, out. And this is how we make change based on certain thing in our life that comes up. There is no accidents with these things. The people that you are having around you, there are no accidents that they are there. The question is, what's your learning? What are you working on? What we are working on right now is to open to love again. We have been so hurt by women, truly, and we are walking that path. because our body feels ready to go through the healing that is needed for that to show up in our life. And in that process, what we're doing is that we are shifting, and we are listening to the body, because we can have lots of stories about what things are, but it's truly just about, if two beings meet from the bodies, that's a very beautiful meeting. That's usually two sort of like inner childs coming together. But that can be prolonged. It's a special place, that. But we have a lot of training. And so it's very easy to sort of jump on to sort of, when you get that specialness, to sort of like not really knowing exactly what to do or something sometimes. And it's just about opening more and just daring to share that. Daring to share that, yeah, I closed, you know? And that's the dance that we're meant to do with people. But to care enough to develop relationships that truly support that openness, truly support opening of the heart, that truly listens, you know? But for that, we have to truly listen to our own body before you can even have anything like that. And so that's what we are doing right now. Our practice is that we are letting Gaia inspire us. What are we meant to do today? And today we were like spinning a little bit in thought forms, and eventually it trickled down to the heart, and we got it. We closed, you know, and if it doesn't matter who closes, it just turns into a little bit of weirder. And then all that's needed is just more communication, really, to keep that floodgates open. Because when two souls meet like this, it's a very beautiful encounter. And you can meet anyone in their soul. You can. The possibility of that is there. It depends on how open the other person is. How open are you? How open am I? When you say this, ooh, that was a little bit scary. Ooh, close a little bit. Open, close. Oh, until there's a little bit more. Okay. Neutral ground. Okay, you're like this. And this is why it's so good if you want to develop healthy relationship with someone that you're inviting to see your light. Make sure that you've felt through all of the pain so that you don't come needing them to fill a role. That's not what they're there for. They're there to point the finger back at you just as pure energy. But that reading is yours. It's you that knows what the correct thing is. You have to do your own reading. Otherwise, we're listening to some authority again. And that's not where we're heading. That's not us, humanity, flying together like completely in sync. What gets humanity to be completely in sync is every single one of us shining our light. It's a little different than us being all the same. But still, the mechanisms of growth of a human being is the same. It requires energetic truth. It requires speaking the body's perspective. And that's not only to shut people out. It's also, when did you close? When someone was open with you and actually leaned in energetically. That's beautiful. Especially when your body liked it. You see? That's a beautiful thing to share. Share when someone touched you. Daring to share your heart, truly, is your next step sometimes. It's not only about sharing the boundaries. It is about who actually tickled you a little bit and daring to share that. Ooh, you got some spicy energy there. I like it. You know, whatever the thing is in the moment. Whatever is authentic. And of course, only to beings that you feel a resonance with, of this openness, this purity. It can seem a little innocent, maybe a little childlike sometimes, but it is the purity of who everyone is. We all have this. It's the innocence of the body. And that can be like a child, but you can also grow that up. Lovingly accepting yourself exactly as who you are, and seeing that, oh, if I want to do this, maybe I do it in a different way. And not letting it be so personal what's actually going on with the body. You know, like, you don't have to be so... Feel it. Open. Feel it. Don't reject it. You know? But like, just in your conscience, just like, oh, I've reacted a lot to this. Yeah, we don't need to, really. And if you see the reasoning and you see it, then the next time it will be less. Guaranteed. Because it's all about correct perspective. And once you have enough of these correct perspectives changed, you eventually are living a completely different life. But you have to get how this is done. This is much like a sport. It's much like surfing. Very much like surfing. That's why we love to go to the sea and we love to ride the waves. We haven't gotten a surfboard or anything. We haven't got that, but we might eventually. We'll see. I could definitely see that's a good possibility. But just the mere fact of all of these waves on the ocean, it's exactly the same as how the waves are in the human body. And these cycles, we are trying to depict them the best that we can in the Ascension calendar. You can find a link to see all of the different cycles. And all of them are important, but there are certain ones that are more important, like the 13. Because then you can get tests. You can get tests all through that, by the way. But that's the last time before you bick to the next scale of frequencies, and whatever you've dealt with, they either go less over to the next 13, or they go more, depending on how well you did, type of thing. If you lost your power, okay, cool, you probably get some other lesson just like that in the next round. You see? And this is how we do it. Practice, practice, practice. And right now we are dealing with romantic relationships, because that was so toxic. It was so toxic, and we just had to leave. We didn't really get good closure, but we have processed through all of that from the body, but it's still just the actual correction of energy in relation to another. That's what we're working on. And so sometimes we meet people. That's why we go out and meet people sometimes. It's the opposite of what our body normally does. So we are, exercising new muscles here. And that's what it takes. What does it take? What is our next step? Relationships. You have to open for relationships and believe that there is magic out there in that regard too. You can't just have the past. It was time, you see? We had healed enough of all of that, but we still have to heal the actually stepping into the how to pick up the subtle cues and maneuver that, because the body picks that up. And so it's just about being good at picking up clues from the body and knowing exactly what the next step is. And the next step for us today was actually to share our heart, to dare to share our heart. We had a big process, and we realized that we closed our heart when we were being asked to open. We were sort of being invited to open, and we closed. And I was like, and we had a whole thing going through with that, which turned into a hair session. If you're interested, that we are releasing that multiple times a week. Also, these hair sessions, they're more like the processes and breathing. They're sort of all going hand in hand. Sometimes it's not so easy to control what's happening when we're channeling. So sometimes there's channeling and sometimes there's breathing. They go a little bit more hand in hand. But the breath work and all of that is truly what the Heya are. But sometimes it also comes with some channeling as well. So that's what we're working on, and we are opening up to love, and that is saying no to things that is not okay and going towards the things that we felt the body was opening to, or that we, and we felt like, we sort of like remember, like, we closed. That's what, it was our fault. Okay, so, and then we felt like, so much release from the heart. And these are the things that is causing disease in the body, the unspoken of the heart, the not going your path here, this path. That is what is causing all these troubles, because you're meant to walk your path. You're meant to grow in consciousness. I have a full fresh coconut. Pleasures of the body. And that's really it. That's why we do it. That's why we go through it again, because our body would like company. We can feel that. It's sort of like it's sort of seeking again. And we noticed that at one point in our healing journey, we started noticing that our body started, almost like a dog, started sniffing female dogs again. That type of thing. And we don't operate the body the same way as many beings do, because it's a whole retraining process. We are the soul operating the body right now. And we have a whole system of how we do this, how we change in these 28 days. So if you want to get started to shift like this, it doesn't matter where you are and what you're working on. We are providing the system for the growth here. So if you want to shift with us, you can join us even for free in the 28-day free consciousness shift. There's a link in the bio. All right. Thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you for all your love and support. And we'll talk to you again in the next one. Take care. Ciao.